That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode 126 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling. My name is Adam. Sam is usually called up first, but he's taking a week off because he's a loser. John.
Hello.
You're always second. You're here.
How's it going?
Good lad. Oh, all right. Yeah, not bad. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but we're gonna struggle on through, and we're gonna get through this. It's not going to be a struggle though, is it? Because we've got lots of lovely stuff to talk about. Brett, are you excited?
I am excited and shattered, but I'm here.
You are. And listeners, I should say, we were. I sent a little message out. We usually record at 7:15, and about 7 I said, guys, I'm ready if you are. You know, should we just get going? Brett still had 5 minutes left on the main event. So this is going to be the freshest review you've ever heard.
Yeah.
No excuses for not remembering anything now, Brett.
Oh, yeah, it must be really fresh, Brett.
It's gone. To be fair, I watched half of the show last night, had two matches to watch, and it was literally like I watched most of the main event while cooking dinner, ate dinner, and I had like, the last 10 minutes to get done before we recorded.
Right. I mean, the last two matches were kind of, that's like half of the pay-per-view in a way.
Yeah,
it was a duration.
What did you guys think of the pay-per-view overall?
Go straight in there.
Yeah, there's
straight in there. That really is just basically
fanning around. Let's get on with it.
People might turn off. People might turn off after they hear this. No, I'm sure they won't. I thought it was great. Why?
Oh no,
why are you asking?
Yeah, because I loved it too. Like the last few pay-per-views, especially the WWE ones. I mean, they've been solid. They've not been bad, but I have felt a bit like it's been a chore to watch them. And by the end of it, I was relieved. But by the end of this pay-per-view, I was like, that was fucking great. I enjoyed that so much.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Well, yeah, Brett, save your opinion.
Yeah, I'll save it.
We'll get there. My main takeaway, though, is that I just really miss crowds. Throughout this, there were so many moments where you just imagine if there was a real crowd. Anyway, we will get into more specific opinions very shortly when we do discuss the wrestling matches that took place at NXT Takeover 31, because that's what we're going to be talking about. Last week we did talk about WWE Clash of Champions, which, was another sort of slightly above average for WWE pay-per-view, but nothing spectacular.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't even remember what the main event was. What was the main event?
I know, this is bad because I remember saying that there were a couple of things that were really memorable.
It's Roman and Jay. That was a great match.
That was it. Did you just have to check your notes?
Yes.
Cool. Well, we will get our notes together for this pay-per-view to make sure that we do remember what we're talking about. And we'll get all that stuff together and we'll start talking about it after this break.
I do feel like our IP is not remembering what we're talking about, though. I think that's very much what we're about.
I'm glad you guys do it too, though, because I'm terrible for it.
Ricochet. Oh! X Black's on the apron. Hardest part of the ring.
NXT Takeover 31 is what we're going to talk about. How do you guys feel? John, how do you feel about the fact that it looks like they're just going to number them now? Gone are the names.
I don't mind it, actually. I quite like the simplicity of it. It reminds me of like artworks, you get Untitled 312 or something like that, I like it.
Yeah. Brett, with the artwork for this pod, I can't remember, what have we done? It's just NXT Takeover 31, isn't it? Because
yes.
I was wondering, should it be NXT Takeover 31 2020, or is that just going to look like we've glitched? Like,
we don't add the year when we do the WrestleManias.
Very true.
If it's numbered, you just do the number.
Okay, like it. Perfect. Okay, so we are going to talk about NXT Takeover 31. The venue was the Capitol Wrestling Center, which is actually just an area of the WWE Performance Center in Florida.
Oh, is it? I did not know that.
Did you research?
Yeah, well, I just looked on Wikipedia. Apparently, it is named as a homage to the Capitol Wrestling Corporation, the predecessor to WWE that was founded by Jess McMahon in 1953. And of course, until now, all NXT events have just been held at the Full Sail University, but not anymore. They're all moving to the Performance Centre.
Oh, weird. What do you know? What does anyone know why? Just fancy the move.
I guess maybe it's
Cheaper.
just a way of, just having everything done in one place. Just can have all of their crew in one place. Perhaps if they want wrestlers to be appearing on different shows, it's a bit easier logistically. I don't know. Maybe cheaper, yeah.
Because the way they portrayed it, I thought this was like some old school wrestling venue that they'd used back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I did think that too before I looked on Wikipedia, if I'm honest.
Oh, cool. Okay, because it wasn't just me being stupid. I also thought the way they presented this was weird. Like, we always had the Thunderdome, but it wasn't on levels. So it was all one level. And then you had the few people in the crowd and the chain fence. It felt very dystopian.
Yeah, well, that's the world we're living in.
I suppose it is.
God, yeah, it really did actually. Because the screens didn't look quite as impressive as the Thunderdome. But what did you think about the sound? Because I was really aware the crowd noise was really loud, and then you had the actual sort of small crowd that were there as well on top of that. I guess it's quite nice to have some real reactions, even though they probably are told what to do.
The only reactions you get from the real crowd is just banging on the perspex fencing, though, isn't it?
Oh, got on my nerves like early days.
Yeah, it's a bit like
really getting on
Zetas,
my nerves now.
Yep.
I saw a video of Shotzi Blackheart reacting to when Finn Balor was coming to the ring with his music. She was absolutely loving it. She's like windmilling her head, really like doing the pose that he does.
Very energetic.
Yeah, she is. Okay, so that is the venue. The comms team, this is another discussion point because the comms team was Vic Joseph, Beth Phoenix and Wade Barrett. But, I mean, what was going on? Beth Phoenix and Wade Barrett weren't there.
No, What was happening with that?
Well, apparently Beth's been just doing her stuff from home throughout the pandemic, which I wasn't really aware of.
No.
Wade Barrett was also recording from somewhere else. But they had these two weird stand-ins. Sat next to Vic Joseph.
Okay, because that totally threw me because I was like, has Beth Phoenix gone for like dark, reddy purple hair or something? Cause
I thought it was Sasha Banks for a bit.
Yeah, she looked like Sasha.
That just threw me, but I never bothered to look it up.
Yeah, well, I looked it up, and apparently the thought is that they just had a couple of people, so Vic didn't look weird sat by himself. But you think
they're getting paid for that.
Like
they are getting paid just to sit there and do nothing.
Well, another theory was that perhaps they were like international announced people, but you never saw them opening their mouths. They literally sat there looking at the monitors. Such a weird job.
Oh my days! You are through the looking glass now.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I do like Wade Barrett on comms though.
Do you?
I like his voice. Don't you think?
He sounds like a boxing commentator to me rather than wrestling.
Well, is that because he talked about boxing about 5 times?
Did he?
During the,
I didn't even
event.
clock that. I just thought he had just had that real British, watching the boxing over here. He just sounds like one of those commentators. I miss Ronaldo.
Yeah, me too.
I miss Renee.
And I miss bloody Nigel.
Yeah, I was going to say Nigel McGuinness. I love Nigel McGuinness. He's like so zoned in on all moves in wrestling. And so he really lets you know what stuff is called throughout.
Where is he now? Is
such knowledge.
Just back in England because of the pandemic, or is he just not on NXT anymore?
I think that's
was
it.
Was he on UK? Was he moved to NXT
he was doing UK.
brand?
I don't know if he still is.
Well, they haven't been filming until just recently.
Yeah.
I can't see him going back to main NXT now they've got Wade, but I'm not really a fan of his. I just felt like a few times I was like, bore off Wade. It felt like he was overstaying his welcome on his bits because Vic kept on having to sort of stop him and be like, okay, back into the ring now.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff happening.
I'm a fan. I'm into it.
I'd rather just have the two silent people there. I should say we've actually got a stand-in for Sam who's on our Skype call, but is doing the same role. Just
better
not going to
job
say anything.
actually. I think.
Yeah,
worth the money.
Anyway, so the event. There are actually 2 pre-show matches. Why do they have pre-show matches when there's no crowd?
Where do you see the pre-show? I don't even see that on the network.
Yeah, I was going to say that was
Wikipedia
my
again,
excuse for not seeing these matches, because I did not see a kickoff show.
Yeah.
So why do they have them? I don't get it. Like, who gets to see them?
Maybe they're going to be on the NXT Weekly, those matches.
Oh,
maybe,
yeah, good point.
Because often they record that stuff, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, Brett, you're going to read the card now, and I don't think anybody will be excited by these two matches. So, what was the card?
Okay, so the first of two pre-show matches was Xia Li versus Emily Anzulis. I don't know who that is.
Right.
The second pre-show was Danny Burch versus Daniel Vidot, and I also don't know who that is.
I think there's been quite a lot of new blood in NXT recently, from the looks of things. There's a few people who I don't really know much about because I haven't been keeping up as much as I'd like to. But
yeah, we're talking about that as the main event because that felt a bit flat to me. But anyway.
Right, yeah. So on to the main show. We kicked off with Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American Championship, followed by Velveteen Dream versus Kushida. Then we don't even want to say his name. I feel like Becky Lynch, get my name out your mouth. And then we had Santos Escobar versus Isaiah Swerve Scott for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. That was followed by Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae for the NXT Women's Championship. And then the main event was Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT Championship.
yes, a tight card of 5 matches, something that we always like to see when it comes to the NXT takeovers. Any pay-per-view that has 5 matches is popular in my house.
Yeah.
As if anybody else in my house gives a shit. So instead of doing our usual thing of picking out key matches when we're usually faced with a card of 8 or 9 matches, we're just going to run through the whole card. As I said, just the 5 matches, so that should be fairly straightforward. We'll do it in order, and then we will pick out our star performer and give the event a score out of 10 as normal. So we will start off with the first match. It was for the NXT North American Championship. It was Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. John, what did you think?
I really want to talk about Damian Priest, guys.
That's handy.
Yeah, go for it. This is your moment.
I hate his gimmick, the Archer of
Yeah.
Me stuff. Hate it. Rubbish. I
Yeah.
hate this Playboy thing he's doing.
Yeah.
Really hate that.
Yeah.
But man, I really like him in the ring now. He's gotten so good. Like, really good. I used to really despise him back when he first came to NXT. But I think he's just improved and improved and improved. And obviously we know Johnny Gargano is amazing. He can do no wrong. I'm still not 100% convinced about this heel turn thing. Johnny Gargano looks like a bad undercover cop. He's a good guy, but he's trying to pretend to be a bad guy.
He's like a comedy heel, isn't he? It's weird.
Yeah.
He sort of really plays up to it, but yeah.
I just think that this was my second favourite match of the night, I think. I think they put on a stellar show. And Damian Priest is... Man, they are strapping the rocket to that guy.
Yeah. Brett, agreed?
I guess I agree. I totally on the Damian Priest stuff. Don't like the gimmick. Certainly don't like the Playboy stuff. Like, I just not interested in him. And I don't think that's any fault of his. It's just not my cup of tea. But I don't... Like, he is decent in the ring. He's not amazing. He's decent. I think this was better because it was against Johnny Gargano, who is great, obviously, as we know. Getting a little bit... I don't know, just wasn't excited. It was a really good match. I just wasn't hyped for it.
I grant you, there is the certain smell Baron Corbin about Damian Priest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe that's
really,
it.
He's even got a similar belly. Did you notice?
I don't want to body shame, but I did. I did notice.
Hey, I'm not saying whether it's a good or a bad belly. There's no shaming here. Yeah, I think you're right. I think, well, John, you're right that Damian Priest did look good in this match, and then Brett, I think you're also right because it was against Gargano, and the fact that he could just get tossed around. Like, Gargano's obviously fairly small, Priest being big and strong, but moves like the Razor's Edge onto the apron,
Yeah,
just look really, really good.
Really,
They did.
really good. Yeah.
I think my other problem with this match, just quickly, like you were saying, like Damien Priest hit some big moves and he's a big guy. Johnny Gargano just kept on kicking out, and it's like, I don't know, there was just a bit of too much suspension of reality there.
Yeah, I mean, also Damien Priest kicked out of a low blow, which is the most powerful move in wrestling. So
Very true. I'm gutted that Sam isn't here for many reasons, but when Damien Priest did the spinning heel kick right at the start, I was thinking, oh, Sam would have loved that. He could have done a Chun-Li impression, which I'm not going to do. But hopefully Sam can do that on the next episode. But I mean, what do we think about the bit with the officials when Johnny gets chucked into them, and one of them nearly got absolutely smacked in the face, didn't he?
security guards, wasn't it?
The security guards. And then, Damien Priest sort of slowly backing into position, waiting for his low blow. You don't see many kicked low blows in WWE these days.
No.
They tend to be the arm ones because they're a bit safer. So I wonder how much connection there was there. But yeah, I mean, was it overbooked, the ending, or do we think it worked well? I mean, you seem to like it, John.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I thought the ending was fine. Big fan.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with the booking of it or the cheating aspect and stuff. It was a really good match, but I didn't love it. And for the kickoff match in a takeover, they've been historically amazing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and so this does feel like for me, a step down.
Interesting.
I like the finishing move though. The reckoning with Gargano sort of draping from the ropes. The camera angle they had on that made it look really lethal.
Yeah, it's cool.
A worthy finisher.
I do like the raised edge as a finisher though. It's one of my favourite moves in wrestling, I think, raised edge.
Cool. Okay. Well, a decent start. Definitely got me in the mood and sort of made me realise we were going to have some good matches ahead to watch. And then we were told we were going to be watching Velveteen Dream versus Kushida. And I think everybody who listens to this podcast knows that we have mixed feelings about this because Velveteen Dream, obviously, it's got some issues, and the way that WWE have dealt with the allegations against him seems to just be the old lift up the carpet, sweep them under there. I don't think we really need to talk much more about that. I don't know, unless you two have got anything specific you want to say. Do you want to bury him, Brett?
I'm just hoping that this means, the way this match ended means he's going to disappear off TV.
Yeah, it's a positive, isn't it?
It did feel like this was WWE sweeping Velveteen Dream under the carpet.
Yeah. They could have done it without a match, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, I am interested to see how it goes from here. Kind of, I guess. I mean, you can guess what could happen. They might just bring him back next week and he'll go over Kushida and then he'll be in the title picture. Who knows? But let's focus on mostly Kushida. And I think luckily the match means that we do have to focus on mostly Kushida because it was all about Kushida. It was basically a squash match in many ways. And I thought Kushida looked amazing. I think I love this new sort of ruthless side that he's got. Thought he was vicious in everything that he was doing. Like, he was really stiff in some of his strikes, almost as if he actually doesn't like Velveteen Dream, which I was quite happy to see. And I just thought there was loads of really cool little moves. The hoverboard lock from the top rope looked really cool, and I'm just excited. It seems like they're going all in on Kushida, and obviously his first little run didn't really come to much. But I think things are looking really positive for him.
It was a shame for him because obviously when he got that broken hand injury, it was just when they were starting to push him a bit more. Like, he was in that big multi-man event where he broke his hand. He is such a talented wrestler. Like, his stuff in New Japan was always amazing. He's so fast. He's got some great moves, a great striker. He is so talented. I hope it works out for him because obviously he's moved his family over, and I hope he doesn't go the way of Kenta.
Yeah, there is a worry. They need to put a manager on Kushida, really, don't they?
Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah,
for him to have an opportunity in WWE, because he's not going to be doing much talking. He's not going to be fulfilling that side of what WWE want their stars to be. But in the ring, he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely. So it would be such a shame if like so much talent gets wasted. You know, put him with someone.
I think that's a great idea. I think the speaking thing is obviously a big issue if he ever gets called up to like the main roster. I think in NXT they're a bit more forgiving because like EO, it's not
they don't
great.
have to. They don't have to do too many promos in NXT, do they?
No, it's actually a proper wrestling show, so they actually do wrestling rather than loads of backstage stuff.
I think Kushida's got the best boots in wrestling.
Yeah,
well.
those
so
straps,
cool.
right? He probably commits to that character.
He does.
Obviously, very Marty McFly. Just quickly, was Velveteen Dream being Doc Brown?
Yeah, he was.
Okay,
and that's it's something I want to like, but I can't.
Well, even that seemed half-hearted. That was like, oh God, I've got this fancy dress, and I don't know what to do. Is that talcum powder? Quick, get the talcum powder in my hair.
Right, that was all
get some
falling
gloves
into his
on.
eyes, wasn't it? All that grey dye that was there. It was quite funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw from Kushida and with the result of the match and the way the match was laid out. I was pleased about that because I could easily have seen it going the other way. So, yes. Okay, let's move on then to the third match. Yes, I am correct. It is the third match, and it was for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. It was Santos Escobar versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. I think they've been having quite the program, these guys. I think it's been going for quite a while, from what I've seen. Brett, are you a fan of these guys? I'd imagine you probably are, for the kind of things that they do in the ring.
Yeah, I've only seen limited bits of Santos Escobar. Not catching up on the weeklies too much at the minute, and I didn't know about him before then. Big fan of Swerve, so I'm hoping he sort of gets opportunities to move into the main spotlight on NXT soon. I guess he needs some wins under his belt to do that, but I mean this again, I think this was a really decent match. Bit of a weird ending, hitting his head that way. Yes. I was just like, what did he hit?
Oh yeah, I wrote in my notes weird ending, but then I was trying to think what that meant. I was like, what was the ending? But yeah,
he
strange.
sort of
really
like
weird.
So he didn't, it was not an exposed turnbuckle, but the mechanism that holds it in.
Yeah,
and he sort of didn't hit it, but he reacted like he had hit it.
They also both spilled to the outside just before that, and it didn't look like that was planned.
No,
it looked like they both just fell out of the ring.
did.
Yeah, and I think in this match there was just, because I think they've, like you say, they've had a few matches against each other now, haven't they?
Yeah.
But it didn't seem like there was too much chemistry there because, like, I've seen Swerve, a good few times now, and he is really good. But there just seemed bits where it was a little bit clunky and a little bit, I don't know if it was like they were trying stuff and therefore the fluidity of it was being lost. But I think some of that in general and some of these matches are happening. I'd prefer people to perhaps simplify it a bit and get the fluidity or the nail stuff rather than like some of these reversals that wrestlers are bringing out. They just look a bit clunky. Like maybe in a real fight that's how it would look, but I don't know, in a wrestling ring it just seems like a bit clunky.
Yeah, I think I thought that for the first sort of few moves, the first few set pieces they did. I was like, this just feels a bit sort of too choreographed, but they haven't really practiced it enough. And you're right, like it didn't feel fluid. Like I quite like matches that start as like a stalemate. Like everything they do, they kind of counter each other, and it is a bit of a stalemate. But this one just felt a bit forced. And then there was a bit quite a lot later where Swerve did the head scissors on Santos on the ropes, but Santos was like awkwardly getting into position and like standing and like balancing on the ropes for quite a few seconds before the head scissors came, and you're like, this doesn't look natural at all. And you can forgive a bit of that in wrestling, of course, but yeah, I think you're right. I kind of expected them to have a bit more chemistry than they did.
I wonder if it is I guess they have sort of some people watching them there, but then they're all their colleagues that they're training with. So I just wonder if there's some aspect of the lack of fans that doesn't have you firing on all cylinders.
Like Premier League defences.
Yeah.
I have to say, guys, I'm on the completely other end of the spectrum of this match. I thought it was amazing.
Okay. I think Brett and I tend to pick little holes in things like this, actually, sometimes. It was good.
It's because I expect more from people, because I've seen them do more, if that makes sense. So when those little bits happen, it's like, it was, don't get me wrong, John, it was a good match. I'm not saying it was bad by any stretch. I just think, I think this could have been match of the night.
I think this was close to the match of the night. It was bonkers, especially like the first half of it. It was Swerve kind of with all the offense. Like, I don't remember Escobar doing anything really, just getting pummeled, and then his mates turned up.
Yeah,
and then it just kind of ramped up. There was like some crazy moves, like hurricanranas off the top rope. There was that like super kick through, like in a mid rolling thunder. There's some bonkers kickouts, and I think it just was wicked.
It was that Hurricane Rana that just took a bit of time to actually happen. I'm pleased though. Yeah. That's good. You need to get lost in it rather than looking at the nitty gritty. It's boring. It's boring to watch wrestling like me and Brett.
I'm very high level, guys. That's what I'm all about, the high level.
I think you're very low level. You just see you're just all about like the bright lights.
John just wants to enjoy himself.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that.
Yeah, definitely. We need people like John on the pod to appeal to the simpletons that are listening. I mean, that's insulting John and our listeners. Yeah. So I don't know why I thought that was a smart thing to say. I'll move on to the next match, which was the Women's Championship match. Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. John, you can tell us how you feel about this match in a second. But firstly, I mean, how do you feel about Candice's gimmick, the poison pixie, and her ring gear, which is, I don't know, I wasn't really a fan of the ring gear, but what do you think overall of heel Candice LeRae?
A bit like Johnny, it doesn't feel like it's set in yet. Like, it still feels very
they're
top
finding
level.
their feet in it.
Yeah,
maybe. We just know that they're both absolutely like lovely people who just are so passionate about.
They're total faces all the way through, really, aren't
they?
Yeah, they just look lovely, don't they? They're just so nice.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like the move that Candice does now, which is, I think it's called the Wicked Step Sister. It looks like a submission, and she just slams the person's face into the mat. I think that is a killer move.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
what do you think about the match?
Solid. Before this pay-per-view, I thought this was probably going to be my match of the night, and it wasn't. It was still really good. Just didn't go to that extra level. Like these guys, I remember these guys having a great match a while ago on NXT, and it was really good. And this match was solid, but didn't quite reach those heights. I did enjoy the ref bumps. One of the ref bumps was brutal, with like Io Shirai just flying through the air into him.
Yes.
Yeah, was that when she did the moonsault? But
yeah,
it was countered, and then she just like in that one motion flew back into the ref and sent him flying.
Yeah, which is weird because the ref came back quite quickly after that, considering normally they get like a feather and they're out for months.
Well, that's the thing. Exactly. He took two.
Yeah.
So you'd think like one is usually enough. Like why go for the second as well? I mean, I didn't mind seeing it.
I don't mind the Johnny stuff, him coming out with the ref's shirt. I feel obviously it's quite similar to what we've seen with Bayley and Sasha recently, but I enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed the referee coming back and saying that's my shirt. I was like, is it actually his shirt, or is he just saying it's a ref? I was confused whether Johnny Gargano actually stole that shirt from that ref as well.
I think it's the ref's spare shirt. Yeah,
spare shirt. Great ending. You know, the finish with the Spanish fly into the moonsault was brutal. But this match was kind of overshadowed by two weird returns, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we get to those after we hear what Brett thought of the match?
Yeah, okay, let's go match stuff.
That's like a little tease.
John just wanted to do this match on his own, I think.
I was like, that's it, let's go. Move on. Battle Royale, let's go.
Boom, done. Next.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, Brett, you're a massive Shirai fan, right? And obviously, you know, everybody loves Candice, really. But you expecting more from this?
Again, yeah, I was. I know both these wrestlers have a better match in them. Again, I thought this was a really solid match. This takeover to me in general felt like better than your general WWE pay-per-view that's, you know, totally middle of the road. So all the matches were like, you know, they were a step better than those. So I couldn't say that there's a bad or average match on this pay-per-view at all.
Yeah.
But from takeovers past and from what some of these wrestlers, you've seen them do, like, it was a really good match. but it just didn't have that next level to it. And I with John, I thought this was good, like, you know, this was my pod cover pick, these two, and because I thought this was going to be match of the night. I did.
Oh, interesting. So is that how you go about it? You sometimes start your drawing early when you predict what's going to be the key match? Oh.
Yeah, sometimes I start it before
you even watch.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose you had to today because you hadn't even watched it 5 minutes before. Yeah,
exactly.
I think a lot of this goes back to the crowd thing, because I had quite a few moments during these matches where I was like, this is a really good match, but why aren't I'm not getting the goosebumps? And a huge amount of that comes from a hot crowd, seeing the crowd reactions, hearing them, hearing the organic chants, not the piped in, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Hearing, you know, you really get taken away with the crowd. And I just think maybe that's why. Like, I honestly believe if these matches had been in front of a crowd, then we would have thought this was a lot better, and maybe the competitors would even have taken it up like a notch as well.
Because there was some, like, you know, some big moves, some nice moonsaults, the Spanish fly, like you said, the what is it, Twisted Sister, or I can't remember what you said it was called, Wicked Stepsister. Like, you know, there was some big stuff in this, and so, like, as I was watching it and getting to the end, I was like, why am I not loving this? Don't understand it.
They've both got amazing repertoires.
Yeah.
Each of them, like. I'm sort of loath to sort of even mention the whole female wrestler thing, but you just think how far it has come and how incredibly stacked the NXT female roster is. And in a way, I'm pleased I have mentioned it because it will lead nicely on to what happened afterwards. But it's that, like, these two are just incredible wrestlers, and particularly Io Shirai. I just think she's absolutely phenomenal. The stuff that she does.
I don't think Candice gets enough credit because
I don't think she's had the opportunity too much in NXT thus far. Like, I think she gets little moments, but then sort of, like, you know, she's off the card or whatnot for a while. So I just don't think she's had the opportunities, because she is like really, really good.
Yeah, and like she's a legend of indie wrestling. Like, in my eyes, she was the first female indie wrestler I'd ever heard of. Ever.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's true as well, isn't it?
Yeah, she's huge.
Yeah. I think in NXT she sort of, obviously, you know, they played up a lot to the fact that she's Johnny's wife, so she just played a lot of a lot of the storylines with the Gargano and Ciampa stuff was, you know, she was getting involved in those, and perhaps that was taking away from her ability to then go and have her own feuds.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. She's definitely in shadow a bit, and still remains so with the current storylines.
Yeah, because it was all about, you know, obviously the Gargano way and the storylines, but it was also about them both coming away with gold after this.
Yeah. Wade Barrett kept on telling us about that.
Yeah.
my boy Wade.
So obviously, as we said, Shirai had the Spanish fly and then the moonsault to retain, and then John, go on, John. You wanted to talk about what
Io's
happened.
in the ring, and then on the VT, is that the right word, VT?
Yeah.
Videotape.
Yeah. Tony Storm appears. We're like, oh great, Tony Storm's back. She sort of says, oh, well done, Io, I'm coming back, blah, 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 blah. And then it cuts to, like, a tape of a motorbike turning up outside wherever they are, the Capital Wrestling Centre. And you're like, oh, is this Tony Storm turning up to beat down Io? And sort of the person gets off the bike, helmet on, comes into the arena, stands on the ramp with the helmet on, awkwardly takes it off, and then it's Ember Moon. You're like, what?
And then awkwardly smiles like there's an audience all reacting to her turning up, but there's not.
And then she does nothing. She doesn't
cool.
run into the ring and challenge Io or anything. She just stands there and then it cuts.
Yeah.
Weird.
You got to be annoyed if you're Tony Storm.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is my comeback. You've totally stolen my thunder.
Yeah.
And I'm Tony Storm. You don't steal the Storm's thunder.
That was weird. That about the whole thing, I thought was like the double. Especially because after the Tony Storm one, it seemed like they were going to cut away to, you know, the next intro bit for the final match. But it didn't. Like you say, it went to this weird outside shot. I was like, what's going on?
I'm glad both of these women are back in NXT. They're amazing talents, and Ember Moon was never used on the main roster, shockingly. So that'd be cool, but it's just the way that it was handled. It felt very, oh crap, we need to get these into the show somehow. Let's just all stick them at the end of the women's match.
Yeah, I mean, I've read that obviously they've got the draft coming up, so perhaps they just wanted to get these two onto NXT, so in the draft the main roster can potentially take some of the other talent. I mean, I don't know who is ripe for a call up yet. I don't know. Who knows? We shall see. It's hard to predict what Vince may be thinking there. But it was a bit strange. I mean, I suppose there's only one women's match on the card, so they couldn't exactly split them. But I mean, yeah, they probably could have actually. They could have done Ember Moon at a different time. Just weird to have them back to back like that. But yeah, cool to have them back anyway, as you say.
Yeah, defo.
Okay, we are ready then to talk about the main event, which was 28 minutes and 28 seconds of this lovely 2.5 hour pay-per-view. It was, of course, Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly for the, I've written in the running order, NCT Championship.
Yeah. Which I corrected when I was reading the card.
Birthing class, isn't it? NCT. I did NCT classes before we had our child, so that would be an interesting championship.
Yeah, how do you win that?
Have the best child?
Best child,
I guess. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. Anyway, it is the NXT Championship that we're talking about, of course. Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly, and I think, let's be honest, we were all most excited about this. I think we've all rated Kyle O'Reilly for a long time. I think when we did episode 50 and we listed our top 50 wrestlers, I think I had Kyle O'Reilly in my top 5.
Wow.
I just adore him and think he's absolutely brilliant. Brett, obviously, everybody knows you're an absolute wrestling purist. You must have loved this match.
Yeah, purist. I did really, again, same old story. I did really enjoy this match. I loved the start to this match.
With the mic coming down from the ceiling. I love that bit.
No, I missed that bit. Was Ken Anderson there? Was that his name?
Who? What?
Ken Anderson. He used to come with his entrance was the mic coming down from the ceiling, and he introduced himself.
It was a bit like that. It just made it have that sort of big fight feel, with the mic in the rafters.
Yeah. Old school.
Yeah.
Old school. Yes.
But you like the chain wrestling at the start, is that what you're going to say?
Yes, that was what I was going to talk about.
Sorry, Brett. That makes more sense, I'll be honest.
It does. And because it was really slick, again, with these two guys. Totally know what they're doing. It was really fast-paced, but also, heavily on the mat. And they did, it was a stalemate. So it kicked off really well. I love Kyle O'Reilly striking. He's so good, but then he does all that and then he starts kicking, and then it's just awesome. Like the way he targets and hits those kicks. This did actually, it hit a bit of a lull for me when Finn Balor just sort of then grounded it again and then really slowed it down, which seems to be his modus operandi at the moment, doesn't it? Like his matches, he seems to they kick off and then he really slows it right down and then does a good section of rest holds.
Yeah.
Which
you mean, I didn't really notice that, but yeah, looking back, I can see that.
So that sort of took me out of it a bit, but then then it got really hard hitting, which was great. Oh, both bloody mouthed.
Really hard hitting.
Yeah, really hard hitting.
Lord.
They
which
were
is
really
always nice
going
to see.
for it. Yeah, I mean, by the end, they were both absolutely battered, and quite often you get wrestlers trying to act that way, and I think Finn Balor was sort of over-egging it slightly, but they were both battered because they were really going for it with each other. Again, loads of really stiff strikes, but just obviously the length of time that they were doing what they were doing. I saw somebody say that it reminded them a bit of sort of Daniel Bryan era Ring of Honor, and it just got me imagining Daniel Bryan versus Kyle O'Reilly and how incredible that would be.
Yeah, they're two very similar. I kind of see the similarities between Kyle O'Reilly and Daniel Bryan, and it gives you kind of hope that maybe Kyle O'Reilly could have the same career as Daniel Bryan could.
He's got it all, hasn't he? Like he the charisma and he's so great when he's coming down to the ring. Everything he does, the way he moves his body and his facial expressions, and obviously the air guitar stuff that Finn Balor took the piss out of during the match.
That was lovely on this leg. That was so cool.
Yeah.
I like that bit a lot.
But then he's really quite unique, I think, in the ring. Like the stuff he does on the mat is just amazing. And then his knees always look so fierce. Like I think there was a bit where he did they had the 2 dragon screws and then went into the 2 knees from the top rope and then into the knee bar. And it's just like, wow, you are a fucking amazing wrestler.
Yeah, there's that sequence he does which starts with the knees, then it has some strikes, and then he does the sweep. Oh my god, I love that sequence.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That always looks great.
That bit. And he also does the Bret Hart turnbuckle bump as well with his chest, which I think looks like the most painful move in all of wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. He sells like an absolute boss as well.
Oh, fucking hell, guys. I fucking love this match. It was brutal. It was so harsh. Like, I felt for both of these guys at the end of it, because they must be just in ice baths for weeks.
Yeah. What actually happened to Finn's mouth? Did you see how that happened?
It was that knee at the end where he was on top of the turnbuckle and then Kyle kneed him and just caught him in the jaw. Apparently, I was reading earlier that they actually cut it short because Balor was pretty banged up. So they called for the finish at that point.
Yeah, it looked bad, that blood. It looked like it was already coagulated. It was like really thick with blood. It was like, what's going on here?
I think they are concerned he might have broken his jaw. I think he's getting scanned or something like that.
Oh, that's what Wade said. Don't believe him.
Well, it looked pretty legit to me, guys. There's also
fully in Wade's camp. Look, if anyone's going to have a broken jaw, wouldn't it be Kyle O'Reilly from that drop kick to the face?
Oh God,
yeah.
And those
when he was on the ground, because like he took all of that in the face.
Sorry, John, you say coup de grace. I think Wade called it a coup de grace.
That was a negative notch for my guy. That was yeah. There's also that bit where Finn kicked Kyle O'Reilly in the gut, and it looked legit. Like the way I don't know if he sold it or whether it was literally he kicked him in the gut, but the way it sold it, I'm going to say he sold it, looked really good. Like he looked okay for a second, and he crumpled to the floor and be like, oh no, that really hurt.
I think like it looked legit. He sold it brilliantly because it was obviously all leading up to the continual stomps and then the coup de grace at the end.
Yeah, because Finn really targeted his midriff and liver, wasn't he? He was always going for his liver again. Like, does anyone target someone's liver? Is that like a tactic?
Well, in boxing, so often a boxer will take the strike in the midriff and then sometimes won't recover.
You guys are going to be loving Wade Barrett in a few more months, I reckon.
Shortly before that, though, the midsection kick, they had the bit again. Sorry, I absolutely love Kyle O'Reilly. I do like Finn Balor too, but he's not a patch on Kyle O'Reilly for me. The 2 double underhook suplexes into the DDT.
Yeah,
cool.
Ugh,
just
a delight.
Just a word on Finn Balor, though. I feel like every time we review one of his NXT matches, we keep saying this is his best NXT match. This is his best NXT match. I think this was his best NXT match as well. Like he just seems to be getting better and better with each sort of big takeover match he has.
I think that was John reviewing his past reviews on Finn Balor.
Oh, come on! What's the last match he had? Was it against Damian Priest? I think it was Damian Priest.
I know. I think you're right. I do.
His been
NXT
better
matches have been great
in NXT, definitely.
Yeah, I mean he's not supposed to be the champ. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And I think he's obviously doing a decent job. And then the good thing is he has got the rep.
Yeah.
Like I like the fact that he was like everybody needs to get in the line because the line starts here, and everybody's going to want a piece of me. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Kyle O'Reilly now. I mean, the stuff. Should we talk about the stuff at the end?
Yeah, I need it explaining to me, to be honest.
Oh God. Well, I don't think anybody's in the right position to be able to fully explain what happened. Obviously, there was the show of respect, the handshake, which was good to see. Kyle O'Reilly looking absolutely exhausted, and then out comes Ridge Holland, who is an English ex-rugby league player.
Is that who he was? I was thinking, like, is that the guy that Adam Cole wrestled at the last takeover? Like,
I thought exactly the same thing. Yeah, the celebrity guy.
Celebrity guy, yeah. Oh, I thought it might have been Loomis for a second. No,
it was Ridge Holland, who has actually, I think he debuted in NXT in 2018 or 19. I think, no, 2019 he made his television debut where he defeated Oliver Carter. And then he had a match against Tyson T-Bone, Oh, this is NXT UK. Sorry, guys. NXT UK.
Yeah, T-Bone.
And then he was in an NXT triple threat match in August against Oni Lorcan and Damian Priest. Apparently he got close to getting into the ladder match that they had in the last takeover, but it didn't quite make it. I don't think he's been a big star, but obviously they're going all in on him if he's able to take out Adam Cole and then end a pay-per-view in the way he did.
Weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Also, it feels like a weird time for Undisputed Era as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Don't know what they're going to do with them at the moment.
Can you? The thing is, I'd love them to do exactly what they've done in NXT, but on the main roster. As in, use every member of them. Let Roddy have a singles run, go for like the IC title, but then also let him have some great tag team matches. Let Adam Cole go for a major championship as well. Obviously, battle for the tag team championships. They're just and you got to think they'd sell quite a lot of merch and be popular on the main roster.
Yeah.
So maybe that will happen. Although this Ridge Holland thing's obviously maybe put a bit of a spanner in the works.
Yeah, because you think I personally think Adam Cole is one of the best performers in the world. Like, amazing in the ring, amazing on mic, knows his character so well. I think he could be a champion anywhere. But WWE would never book him like that.
No, because of his size.
Yeah, because he's just too small.
Yeah,
he
is tiny. Yeah, you're probably right. But they can't just stay doing what they're doing, can they?
Well, no, I don't think they can. But I don't think they want so much to lose people from NXT anymore. I don't think because of its channel that it's on and stuff now. I think they want to establish it as its own entity.
Well, it's the third brand, isn't it? Yeah, that's what they were trying to do.
It's no longer like the proving ground.
Yeah. Being to see what happens in the draft. I mean, we always say this every time there's a draft. Oh, can't wait for the draft, and it happens. Oh, fucking stupid draft.
It's because we set such high standards with our own draft.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if Vince gets us in once, just for creative? You guys are good at drafts. Do this draft for us. Oh, sit down, Vince. We got this.
Us four go out on the stage. Everybody in the Thunderdome doing the thumbs down, booing. Like, who are these jokers? Except for Carl Luckhurst.
Yeah.
He's losing his shit. There we go then. Okay, well, but I think, we've obviously finished on a little bit of a downer there in a way, talking about Ridge Holland and then not knowing what the Undisputed Era guys are going to do. But we all love that match.
Yeah, amazing. Like one of the best matches I've seen in the last 6 months, probably.
And I think I agree with John here. I am definitely more Team John than I think I am Team Brett, because you're not as convinced, Brett, right?
No, it was a great match. I wouldn't stake my hat to that claim though. The last 6 months.
Okay, is that a phrase? Yeah, let's pretend it is.
Yeah, it is now.
All right, so star performer time now. We've talked about all 5 matches. It's time to stake our hats to a claim of star performer.
Throw my hat.
Who is it going to be? John, do you want to go first?
It's got to be Kyle O'Reilly, hasn't it? Come on.
What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, I'll go Kyle.
Yeah. I was tempted to give it to Kushida.
Same.
It has to be Kyle. It really has to be Kyle O'Reilly. So there we go. Hat trick for Kyle. Overall rank time. This is obviously where we give the pay-per-view a score out of 10. This is going to be interesting. I might go first. I kind of like when I made a little note for this beforehand, I was like, well, what's not to love about this apart from obviously Velveteen Dream? But if we ignore the fact that he was on it, it really was quality throughout. There wasn't a bad match on there. There were no title changes, which is interesting. So we didn't get that moment, no new champions crowned. But I mean, I'd say it's back to the standards of takeovers that we've been pining for. So I'm going to give it an 8.5. John,
I'm also going to give it an 8.5. I needed this pay-per-view. It was good.
Amazing. And Brett,
I'm going to go 7.5.
Ooh. Okay. That gives us an average of 8.16.
Solid.
Yeah.
Very solid. Let's see where that ranks. It is 8.16. Ooh, it is just above. Actually, no, it's bang on the same as AEW All Out 2019 and AEW Double or Nothing 2020. So there you go. And in fact, it's very similar to AEW Full Gear 2019. So if it's ranking with the AEW pay-per-views, you know it's a decent pay-per-view.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Nice. Okay. Well, we shall have a very quick break and then we will be back with, I think, a single listener comment.
The power comes out. Lacey Lane bounced off the apron.
And that is the hardest part of the ring. Nothing but steel under that.
Oh, no. This is bad. This is bad.
So we've actually got 2 comments. One just came in hot off the press, so it's still warm. So we have Loserweight. It says, best NXT main event since Gargano versus Cole at TakeOver 15. Painful looking, brilliantly paced, and a long overdue showcase of how good Kyle O'Reilly is as a singles wrestler. His work in New Japan showed what he can do, but it's great that he's now got that exposure with a WWE audience. The rest of the show was high quality across the board too. Gargano's heel work and persona are hilarious. Cruiser match was both Swerve and Escobar's best WWE match, and Velveteen getting squashed was encouraging.
Yeah. Actually, that's a nice callback to the Kyle O'Reilly's previous career, because I did quite enjoy the fact that they had that video package of him performing on the indies. I say on the indies, just on all the indies that WWE happened to have a stake in.
Which is everything, pretty much.
It was still pretty cool, though.
It was good. I think the first ever Wrestle Kingdom I watched had Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole on it.
He's been around, hasn't he?
Yes.
How old is he? How old do you think he is?
I'm going to guess 33.
He is exactly 33.
Oh.
Yes, John. Next comment.
Next comment.
Smashed it.
Graham Hughes. The new Capitol Wrestling Centre looked good. The fan screens far less intrusive and distracting during the matches. Inclusion of some fans was a nice addition. Refreshing that the announce table wasn't broken. That's fair.
They didn't want to draw attention to the 2 weirdos.
Just checking their phone. The main event stood out as a hard-fought contest, showcasing both their immense talents. Kushida's mean streak is something I can get behind. Velveteen's Doc Brown dress-up was worthy of his defeat. Excited to see Ember Moon and Toni Storm back to challenge for the title. The women's division looks stronger. Interesting to see what these results mean for the upcoming draft, if any.
Comprehensive thoughts there.
Yeah.
See, who needs multiple listener comments when you can just get 2 quality ones like that from those guys?
I do just think we should probably just do the list of comments at the beginning of the pod and just end it there.
Yeah. Do our work for us.
Yeah. I think we'd only get 2 listeners and they'd be Graham Hughes and Loserweight. But that would be fine, really. We do it for ourselves, really, guys, don't we?
Yeah,
Not
just
for
keep us
the
busy.
listeners. Exactly. Cool. All right.
Keeps us off the streets.
Thank you for those comments from those 2 guys. Next week, we're all very excited. And secretly, I think it's why Sam's taken the week off, so he can do all his prep. Because we have Volume 5 of The Undertaking.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to this so much. It's been ages since we've done Undertaking.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the little brief from Sam where he's like, right, guys, you need to watch this match and this match. And then I'm also looking forward to the previously on The Undertaking because it's been so long, I can barely remember.
You know what? I think we've got the Giant Khali matches, haven't we? No. We've got the Gonzalez matches, haven't we? Not
Yeah,
Khali.
Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah, they're similar.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of similarities, those 2. Yeah, I'm kind of hyped for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love watching the old stuff. So tune in next week for that. And in the meantime, Brett, if people want to speak to us.
Yes, they can send emails to hardestpartofthering@gmail.com, or they can catch us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. We are at hardestpartpod.
Lovely jubbly. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Please rate and review. And if you haven't left a review on iTunes, it's really, really easy on your phone to do. And that really helps people discover the show, which would be really lovely. So please do that if you can, if you've got a spare couple of minutes. But if not, then absolutely fuck you. Thanks for listening. Goodbye from me, Adam. Goodbye to you, John.
Goodbye.
And goodbye to you, Brett.
Bye.
That was the hardest part of the ring.
Wow, that was all energy, wasn't it? That's some big dick energy right there, Adam.
That is the hardest part of that ring.
On the